that stuff, videos, all the really cool like camera work and everything we do in there is all done in After Effects, and it's we have an amazing artist that works with us named Matt Gabois, and he takes all the storyboard drawings and everything, and somehow works his magic to make these like almost, they're almost like fully animated scenes. It really gives you like a very clear picture of like all the action and everything. And yeah, if it wasn't totally, I realized we didn't set up the fact, it might be hard to tell in the drawings, but Mako does become a cop for book 2. And,
not Batman, just a cop.
Just a cop. And well, Bolin is kind of like, he's trying to find his way in the world. So book 2 deals a lot with Bolin kind of trying to find out what his path should be.
I'm trying to become a man. Yeah, I'm going to be somebody.
I want to ask. So, yeah, I wanted to ask Andrea. I didn't get to this earlier, but after we and the writers, finished the scripts, Andrea is one of the first people to see them, other than the people on the crew. So I was always curious, like, when you get the script, like, what do you do to prepare for the record? And were there any like things you read from book 1 that you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening? What are those guys thinking?
Oh, well, what happened with Amon and Tarlok was absolutely shocking. And, we do the initial record, and it goes off for animation, comes back 6-8 months later, and we ADR it. And I had forgotten what happened after the initial record, and then we see it again in full animation, like, oh, man. He has the glove that sparks, and I'm like, this can't end well.
It's a kid's show.
It's a great shot. It's just it's a beautiful, beautiful. But what I do to prep a script is, we work from what's called a shooting script, which has all the stage direction as well as the dialogue. And so I read everything that's on the script, but I highlight just the things that I think need to be told to the actors that will affect their performance. So if they're doing a scene where they're actually running through the scene, or they're training during the scene, that will affect their energy. And then there's always the things, as we did the table read a moment ago, where you have to add some impacts. Okay, you get hit, you hit the wall, you fall down, or you gasp, and then you do the line, or there's laughter in the scene. So I add any of that stuff that can help us with the animation and make it a little bit more full. And I basically try to make it as easy for the actors as possible. We have a very relatively small recording booth that we work at Nickelodeon, and so we can't always all record together, and often the actors aren't all available to record together. So something else that I do is try to organize it such that actors who are in the scenes together can actually act off of each other. It gets you a better, I'm sure you guys can confirm this, if you can actually react to the actor that speaks before you and after, you get a more complete performance than me just reading the actor into the line. And, if the other actors aren't there to work with, I have to get pretty much every possible read from the actor to make sure that we're covered, so that whatever cuts together, it makes the editor's job harder, but so we have a scene that makes sense in continuity and actually is in the same moment. But every once in a while you'll have actors recording 2-3 weeks time difference between, and we'll get the scene back in animation, and one person will be speaking like this, and the other guy in the scene will be speaking like this, and we have to fix that because it sounds like they're shouting at each other or whatever. But, did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. We ended up getting some questions, but this was our favorite one because it says, as creators of the show, this was to me and Brian obviously, what do you actually do while on the job? Typical day for us is, usually we're kind of splitting duties. Like right now I'm working with the writers and we're coming up with stories for book 3 and then we're doing meetings with Joaquin to go over storyboards, and then running to, when we were doing post-production on book 1, doing retakes. Like, basically it's like, we run the show, so we're overseeing every part of the production, which gets kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm the art director on the show, so I'm running the art department, and we have designers in Burbank with us, and then we have some overseas, and just combing through all that. It's just crazy the amount of design, especially when you're in these really complicated locations like Republic City, with tons of people and cars and all that stuff. Just the amount of stuff you have to do is nuts. So I always tell people, I've said this a bunch of times, but it's really true. It's like, I have every job I've ever wanted to have, but I have them all at the same time, which is really, really hard. And so your day gets chopped up into tiny bits, and if I'm doing one thing, that means I'm neglecting a dozen other things, and it's just really hard. But yeah, we do a little bit of everything.
I can say, like, without a doubt, they're the most hands-on creators I've ever worked with, to the point where we'll be doing like a storyboard handout or a review, and Mike will somehow, or Brian will somehow, like, the other stuff they're doing, say, just give me this,
Other things, and it's just really hard. But yeah, we do a little bit of everything.
I can say, like, without a doubt, they're the most hands-on creators I've ever worked with, to the point where we'll be doing like a storyboard handout or a review, and Mike will somehow, or Brian will somehow, like, in between all the other stuff they're doing, say, just give me this, I'll do it. So then they'll go back to their office and crank away for like half the day and turn in this piece in between all the other stuff they have to do. It's amazing. They're all over the place.
We're trying to do less of it.
Case in point, Mike and I, because we were starting over and we were able to bring in Joaquin and give him a much bigger role and a lot more responsibility. Mike and I were able to write book one together, just the two of us, which was really fun. And but as a result, all of my design duties fell behind. And then for book two, we brought in Josh Hamilton and Tim Hedrick, our two writers from Avatar. And so Mike and those guys, formed the new writers' room, and I would be in there more initially in the beginning. And it's always really valuable to be in there when you're kind of coming up with the general overview and the main characters and stuff. But any time I spend in the writers' room means designs aren't getting done, and I get a lot of angry people. And then again, we've been kicking around. I've been sneaking away into the writers' room with them for the book 3 stuff, which is really exciting. So